Welcome back to another episode of the Boss Women Network podcast. We're sitting down with a woman whose voice, work, and purpose are deeply rooted in transformation. She is an author, a speaker, and the powerhouse behind From Pain to Purpose. Please help me welcome Miss Sherri Simmons. Welcome, Sherri.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad to have you today as well. Um, So let's go ahead and dive into the questions.
Um,
For anyone meeting you for the first time, give us a little insight into your professional background and what led you into writing and speaking.
um, um, so I've always had the knack for storytelling. People used to tell me that I should write a book when I was really young. So storytelling was always my thing. But was a really private person with my writing. I didn't want to share. And wrote my first book because I got tired of people asking me or telling me to do it. So I was just like, just to shut them up, here you go. And when I put that first one out, it was just like, well, when's your next one? And I didn't expect that. So I was like, next what? And then I was like, oh, and I had to come up with stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm good at this. And if people are going to keep asking me, I could see myself making something out of it. At the time, I didn't know that you could make a career as an author because I didn't know any self-published people. Or I didn't know how to like get an agent. I didn't know how to do any of that. So I was like, well, how do you do this author thing? Um, but 15 years is coming March 2026, so I figured it out.
Wow, you've been writing books for 15 years now?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. So you have books on Amazon and everywhere like that?
My son, I have a 12-year-old. He wrote a book too in 2021. So he has a book on BarnesandNoble.com.
Wow. Wow. How do you go about getting a book in Barnes and Nobles?
So it's only on their website. To get into the stores is a whole nother complicated thing.
Oh, it's a
Um,
complicated situation.
but you can put your book on their website.
Wow. How cool is that? Okay.
Yeah.
So how did people find you? Was it just like your circle of friends that you marketed your book to, or how did you do with your first book as far as marketing?
I always tell new and aspiring authors, do not look for your friends or your circle to support you. So it wasn't them, it was actually strangers. Um, and it was just at the time just going outside. Like I live in
Mm,
the city, and it's just like, oh, we're outside selling books on the sidewalk. And at the time, there were not as many self-published authors. Now the market
mm,
is saturated, but just to hear somebody, you wrote this book, people get excited. So I was
right.
outside a lot. My kids were outside. They used to hate it, but hey, gotta work too.
It worked. So is this your full-time thing, or you do something else, or are the books is just really working for you?
So it was my full-time thing until 2024. Then I started substitute teaching, and now I'm getting my master's to be a teacher.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm,
Congrats.
I want, thank you. I want to go into the classroom, but this is, something that I love to do too.
Okay. So your book name alone, or your business name alone, From Pain to Purpose, it already tells like a powerful story. What inspired that name and what does your business represent?
Um, so when people look at me, they don't see, um, the bad story or the negative things that happened to me in my life. They just see the positive things. So I named it From Pain to Purpose to let people know that most of my life was spent in a dark place and in a lot of pain. And what
Mm,
you see right now, I went through all of that to for this purpose, right? To help people and let them know, you know what? It's not where you come from, it's not what you've been through. You can choose to be different and choose a different path. You don't have to sit in that negativity.
mm. Do you share some of your story in your books?
I talk about, my family, how, my father was an alcoholic. My mother was a gambler, so two people addicted to just two different things. But I always say an addiction is addiction because they
Right.
both are not there mentally and emotionally for me. So as a child, that was just very hurtful. Um, Not understanding what was happening is kind of like, well, what did I do? What can I do? And it kind of like broke me trying to, especially for my mom, trying to please her. Like, what do I have to do to please you? And it just realizing now nothing, right? So I was just doing all these things and nothing made her
Mm.
happy. So I was like, I spent all most of my life trying to make someone happy and for nothing. Did you see that?
So that experience caused you to become a people pleaser in a sense, is what you're saying?
Exactly. It was kind of like I forgot all about like if you would have asked me, well, what do you want to do? I was like, what I want to do? What do you like? What do you like? Like totally lost myself in
Mm,
in people. Which
understandable.
end up getting hurt because it's kind of like people are never satisfied. People end up using you, draining you for all your money, your assets, your time, and energy. And then when you have nothing and you're just laying flat on your face, no one's there.
Right. No one is there.
And that
So,
I breaking point. And it was just like nobody's here. Wow.
right, right. So, what age were you when this happened between your parents when they started having their addictions?
Um, well, it was before I found out later. It was before I was even born that they were dealing with these things. But yeah, my mom was dealing with my whole life before I was born. So I didn't know what she was doing, you know. She would just go out.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, my mom went to work. But then I'm like, wait a minute, I works all day and all night. Where's my mom? Kind of like
right,
figuring out things. And my father left when I was 6. So it's like, but you know, as children, they don't tell us stuff. So it's
right.
like you're just like, well, what did I do? Why are you leaving? It was just a lot of questioning that never got answered until I got older. Um,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like now that I'm older, it's just like, okay, y'all just want to do your own thing. You're human.
Mm,
I get it. Because sometimes, you know, as a mom, you don't want to do um certain things. You don't want to go to certain phases. I get it, but
yeah.
I would have felt better if it would have just been honest conversations, right? But
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I've experienced something similar, but not like so it was opposite for me. My mom became an alcoholic once my dad got on drugs. It affected her to the point to where she started drinking and gradually drinking more to the point that she became an alcoholic. And I was like in middle school.
yeah,
And it also affected me in a way to where I kind of held it over, held it against them until I became an adult to understand. Well, once I became an adult, not only an adult, but once I became a mother myself,
mm-hmm,
it helped me to understand more about their struggles of life, temptation and pain that
yeah,
probably caused my mom to start drinking, or my dad, the struggle of being a man or being around the wrong environment, the wrong people, temptation that interfered, enticed him to try to start using drugs and just tore our whole family apart, which they didn't realize at the time, but how it affected the kids.
right,
And then coming out of that, it also made me a people pleaser. It made me have low self-esteem. It caused me to become a serious introvert. I think I was always one, but that just it took it to a whole new level of introvert. Not really knowing how to develop real friendships, or people not really understanding my journey or my pain or the things that I experienced, but I'm a very supportive person on the other side because of the things that I've been through. I can kind of understand people's pain better because of the pain that I've been through, but it's not always received um, for me on my end. So I can understand what you're saying. Like you've gone through a lot of things. You have, but when you were in pain, nobody was around to be able to help you, but you help other people through theirs.
um,
How did you,
right.
how did you gain your strength and overcome being that person and be more focused on yourself?
It really took me until my late 30s. So I'm 40,
Mm,
probably like 35, um,
mm,
to realize that I have to put myself first. Um,
mm,
because at the end of the day, even though I am a mom, even though I am a wife, I don't ever want to put myself in a position again where people have to take care of me because they're
right.
not going to take care of me the way that I take care of them. I'm very particular about things. I'm very like I like certain things, and I'm like, oh no, I can't depend on people to do things for me. So I'm like, I need to make sure that it's like really setting boundaries with people and letting them know I'm not going, I'm not doing that, and just not explaining myself.
Mm. Did your experience also help you with um, peer pressure, addictions, um, your relationship with God, and things like that? Because it definitely affected me in that way. How did that affect you?
Peer pressure never affected me. I'm the oldest of seven. So I didn't have like the childhood to go and be with friends and stuff. I was always with my siblings. So I didn't
Mm,
have that friend type of experience thing. Um, but my relationship with God was kind of a bit confusing because when the way that I grew up is like you're not supposed to question God, but I'm like, I got so many questions.
yes.
And it just got to the point like I felt like I had to have like real honest conversations with Allah. Like, why would you do this to me? What's happening? Where am I supposed to like I would have these deep conversations and getting all of these answers and understanding no doesn't mean no. Just because I didn't get it then that doesn't mean I'm never gonna get it. And
Right.
a lot of you need to wait. And I'm
Mm,
actually bitter about it because I know I don't have any patience. I'm getting better. But
mm,
it was like I eventually got what I wanted, but no, it's not when you want it, it's when I want it. So I'm like, you know what? Oh. So that really helped me kind of struggle with patience. Like I guess because
mm,
being the oldest child, you literally responsible for six, seven of us. My parents
mm,
weren't there. So
mm,
just being responsible for people, and I take that job or responsibility very I don't take that lightly to be being
right.
responsible for people. Um but then it's like when you are responsible for people, when you're not there, nothing happens or they can't do certain things if you're not there. So it's like,
Right.
oh no no.
I
Something
definitely
happened.
experienced that. So does your other siblings still depend on you to this day?
No. Everybody's old like everybody's over 30 now with their own
Mm,
families and stuff, so no. Um,
mm. Well, that's
actually,
good.
s- speaking about the thing that happened with my mom, it wasn't just the effect personally on myself. She caused like a real deep friction between me and my younger sister.
Oh,
Got older, I started reading about narcissistic
oh,
mothers or
yes.
empathetic moms.
Hmm.
And there was a chapter in the book where they talk about they purposely put wedges between the children.
Mm.
So she would tell my sister something, and my sister like, "Why did you do that?" And I'm like, "Wait, like not." Or then she'll tell me something, and it's like, "Why did you?" Like we don't ask each other, we just like, "Why did you?" And then it's like, "See, no." So for years, I did not speak to my younger sister, and
Wow.
like 3 years ago, we started speaking. We haven't
Oh,
spoken since, and
that's good though.
I just had to ask her, like, what's your problem with me? Because I ain't got no problem. She's like, I ain't got no problem with you. So I'm like, but what's the problem? Common denominator, mommy.
Mm.
So we both had to, my sister moved to Virginia. We both had to literally like just remove her from our lives because we can't function and build back what we lost if she's there because she's going to keep doing that.
Wow. So you totally had to distance yourself from your mom, which was a part of the pain in
No
order.
contact for 3 years. It's just been 3 years. I did
Mm.
try to And again, keep trying, and then it's just kind of like, you know, when you're talking to a person, you're just like, how delusional are you? Were we not part of the same conversation? It was just
Mm,
that, and it's kind of like those type of people make you feel like you're crazy
right.
when they're
Right.
saying something and you're just like, that ain't happen.
Mm,
I was just like, I can't function like that. If you're not gonna be honest, like I totally have to function in truth and honesty with people, and I'm like, that's how I'm gonna be because I grew up in your delusion.
mm,
It's toxic, and I was like, I don't like that.
yeah.
So whenever I meet people that are like that, just any an inch of toxicity, I'm like, nah, I'm not. I can't do it.
Understandable. Well, I'm glad you made the decision that was best for you. And so your sister. I'm glad y'all were able to get your relationship together and
I
come
like
closer.
that grief is not just for people that passed away. It's for
Right.
people that are still alive. I didn't know that. So you do
Mm,
go through the 7 stages of grief, and I was just so confused about why am I crying about her? She doesn't even care. And I was just like
right.
grieving the loss of the person still here, but it's the loss of the relationship. Like,
You know what I had to do? I had to learn how to love my mother where she's at and realize that she's never going to change. Like she's set in her ways at this point. So I just had to learn how to love her where she's at and distance myself when I need to, um, and still be able to love her.
it's hard though.
It is,
You
but
meet people where
we've come a long way. So I definitely get what you're saying.
I'm like,
It is rough, but
yeah, meet people where they are, but it's like I don't like where you are. Um, and you know, I know, and you know that that's not where you know, but you know what I also learned? I said sometimes we have so much potential for the person is us that we feel or we think that they have is, but they don't see it or feel it. So until they realize that they can change and do whatever they need to do, it's pointless. So I'm like, you know what? My
let
energy
me
else.
let me know if your mom ever comes to the point of understanding and realizing that she needs to change. Because I don't think my mom is ever going to get there.
I think we're
Um,
okay.
you say what?
I said I think we're in the same boat, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. You know,
Yeah, but I love her. My sister and my mom have like a very love-hate relationship. It is crazy, crazy. It's way worse. I think it's because she was the baby and she had to live with her throughout her whole life as an alcoholic. My mom didn't become an alcoholic until I was 13. My sister was born when I was 13. So her whole life was experiencing that. I got a chance to experience my mom as a normal person and as the other person.
that stood out
Um,
like through too. My sister was telling me these things, and I was like, ooh. So what you just said makes sense because my sister's 8 years younger than me. So when I left
mm,
13, she was 10, still in the house. I was like, I didn't
mm.
know that she had that happen to you. I should have, should have, could have, would have, but I didn't know.
Yep. It's crazy how that is. And it's pretty cool to meet somebody else that kind of had a similar story, but not the same. My dad actually turned his life around and got off the drugs and became his normal self again. My mom recently stopped drinking within the last 2 years. That was a long time ago, but she finally stopped. But she's still set in her ways of I think it may be the narcissist thing that you talk about. Um, she has some of those types of traits. But she's a good person, but she doesn't understand the things that she's doing to her kids in a sense. But I will say she's come a long way, but she'll tell you, I'm set in my ways. I'm not changing. Either accept me for who I am or you don't. That's what she says. Her
Mm.
exact words. Um, But yeah, so to move on from that,
Mhm.
you share that you choose this lane because you love storytelling. Talk about, tell us about your passion. What does storytelling allow you to express or heal? Is it basically all of the things that you went through, what you were just saying? Like, does it allow you to heal in the process?
It definitely does allow me to heal in the process, but also just letting people know that you can out of whatever you've been through. And I always tell people when they see me, don't look at, because they always look at, oh, you've been writing books for 14 years. Oh, you have all these books. But that doesn't mean that I haven't cried. I don't haven't had sleepless night. I haven't been in pain. That doesn't mean anything. All of that
Mm,
stuff, there was a lot of tears and blood and all that stuff behind it. So
mm,
I always tell people like don't look at these things and say, "Oh wow, I have it all." I don't have it all.
right, right. Wow. So is so the pain side and the purpose side, do all of your books talk about the pain and then the purpose, or some of the books are talking about just straight about the things, positive things that you've overcome, the purpose in your life and things like that?
So my recent one is about self-care, and I've
Mm,
actually named it Self-Care Guide for Women of Color purposely. But it's for anyone's. I have to give that disclaimer. But I voted for women of color, particularly Black women, because we oftentimes when you ask someone what is self-care, they always jump to, the spa or getting their nails done, and you hear them like, "Girl, what else do you do outside of that?" And they don't say. And it could be just the simplest thing like eating a healthy meal, going to the gym, taking care of your mental, going to bed on time, taking a nap, doing yogas, looking at nature. Those little things are also part of the self care. The things that we don't have to pay for, that still takes care of our inner selves. Because I know a lot of people like, girl, you cute, but inside, child,
mm.
on that. So
Dying on the inside.
like if you need to really take time and sit down, if you do meditation, whatever you want to do or like to do that. And we don't have to pay to do a nature walk or a job or take a nap, read a book. Like everyone thinks that self-care is you have to pay for it. It's not. It's how do you take care of yourself?
Your daily routine, just even having a routine.
Exactly. A lot of people they just running on autopilot. Like I gotta go to work. I gotta go here. I gotta go there. No. And
What
it's
was the eye opener for you to start um, getting your, I guess, self-care regimen together? Had you had a lot of burnout or became overwhelmed at some point?
a lot of burnout. And then I have three children, and then two of them are special needs, and
Oh, okay.
it became a lot of them and their children. And I do understand that children tend to be selfish and they don't really care about your feelings. But it's kind of like, wait, yeah, I got too many emergencies going on. I gotta eat. I gotta do this. Oh, I don't care if we eat. And it was
Yeah,
like, you want me to pay all my attention to you, but I don't get to do anything. No. So it was like that with those things, just having children making you realize that, I had to take care of myself because who gonna take care of you?
that's
No.
true.
So now I learned you can have boundaries with children, and I learned the hard way. You really
Right.
do have to give them boundaries because they will
Yeah.
have you running all over the place and not care if you ate, went to the bathroom, nothing.
Hmm.
So I was like, mm-mm.
Yeah, they definitely don't understand. Not till they get older sometimes, of course, after they start experiencing
But they were
stress
the
and
ones.
life and bills.
They were the ones that taught me that I really had to put myself first. And some people are like, oh, that's so selfish. I'm like, but if I don't eat first and just do everything for them, what happened when I'm just in the bed sick? They just gonna, nothing
Yeah.
happen. And it has
That's
happened when the household falls apart because they looking at me, I'm looking at them. There's nobody doing nothing. So I was like, you know,
mm-hmm.
I can't have that again. So I'm gonna stop and take my break. You can wait. You'll be fine. And it's just the thing where I'll say, you know what, you'll be fine. And if you don't want to wait, you figure it out.
That's right. That's right. Did
Because
you also attend therapy or anything like that?
I did, and I recently ended 13 years of therapy, and I felt that it was time
Hmm.
to end. I was like, I had learned all the coping skills. I was um improving, doing better, and really focus on what I wanted. Because remember, I said I didn't know what I wanted. So
Right.
helping me realize what I like, what I don't like, who I am. And I was like, now that I got that, I think we should end this, and then I can go out into the world and see what the world is without the therapist. Because I felt like also, I was like, I'm using you as a crutch because
Yeah.
I already know what to do. Now I gotta do it by myself.
Hmm.
So
Do
it
you
was,
feel like do you do you feel like therapists should only be temporary, maybe for like a few months, and then they give you the tools for you to continue on without them and not just keep using your service for year after year after year after year? Like,
I think that with therapy, it should be like nobody should do a cold turkey. So like most times you do like 4 weeks and then gradually decrease the time so that you get to experience life on your own and then come back to them. But I don't think anyone should be month after month continue seeing. Like if they should get some time in between
hmm,
that they could apply what they know. Like
hmm.
so some people they go to therapist and then the therapist gives them the tools, they don't want to try the tools. So now they're stuck in
Oh,
um like the teacher. I'm teaching you how to read, but you're not applying what I told you. So what are we doing?
ah,
So I actually my husband's therapist fired him and it was just hilarious. And I was like, you know what, that's what exactly what therapists should do because it is a waste of time and it is a waste of money if two people that we're looking at each other like, what are we doing? So if you're doing the work, then you don't need to, you can gradually decrease your time. But if you're there and you're not doing the work, then you don't need it or you don't want it.
that's true.
Because there's already a shortage in therapists, so I feel like why waste? Somebody else could be looking for one. Like,
I didn't know that. I saw that they're recently trying to make it to where therapist isn't like a professional
I saw that teaching
degree.
nursing, social work. I was like, okay.
I'm like, that's crazy because there's definitely a need for therapists for sure.
And they gotta take
That
all
should
the
be considered a professional degree, I think, but
they know how
I
to give
guess.
me lessons. I was thought it was professional. I don't know.
All
Uh,
right. So the long-term commitment to your craft, what have
ooh.
those years taught you about yourself and about your writing space?
Um, I just learned that I'm a visionary. So most times when I see stuff, people are like, they'll laugh or they'll be like, that's crazy. And then when it comes to fruition, they're like, wow, you did that. It's like, because I saw it. I don't know how I'm gonna put it together. Like a lot of times, I don't know how I'm gonna put things together. I just see it and I was like, I want that. And then I learned too that I don't have to be the smartest person in the room, or I don't have to know how to design a book flyer. I suck at graphic design. But everybody's like, "Ooh, your stuff is so cute." I was like, "I didn't make that." Finding the people that could do what I can't do and
Hmm,
collaborating, and like collaboration is like the key to my long term. Because I can't do everything by myself. I don't want to do everything by myself. And
right.
there are a bunch of talented small business owners out there that are trying to get their brands out and their names out. So why not collab?
That makes a lot of sense. Have you had any struggles collaborating with people?
Some people just want to collab, and I'm very big on being a reciprocal relationship. So when I say that, people tend to think reciprocal means money, and it's not about money.
Mm,
For me, if we are going to collaborate, then we both need to get something out of this. Not
right.
so. For example, if I'm collaborating with someone, I always make sure, oh, what's your social media? Let's do a live together to share both um platforms. So we're on each other's platforms. Um, sometimes you work with people and they literally do try to steal your stuff, or they do try to, and it's happened, you get burned and you learn
Yeah,
that someone's doing something that you don't like. I'm like, girl, what you doing? So I'm very mindful of who I collaborate, especially on social media, because that's where I do meet a lot of people, and it's just like I don't know who is behind the computer. Um, but the main thing is being reciprocal. Like, what are we gonna get out of this? And some people just don't like that, and they're like, "What do
right.
you mean? What are you gonna get out of this?" No, it's what are we gonna get out of it?
That's right. What a we. Um, so every journey comes with challenges. For you, you included financial obstacles and developing a consistent client base. What kept you moving forward through these seasons?
I really had to think about the people that needed my help and my services. So even along the way, bumping into people that they'll waste your time, they don't want to pay, and it's just like, you know what? There's learning to be more stern and strict with business. Can't be nice. I had to learn hard way. You really cannot. People tend to think that they own you because they pay the invoice. Uh,
Hmm.
so I had to like really be really stern about that with my time, my energy, uh, and access too. So I'm not as accessible to everybody.
Right.
Before I used to, every inbox, every email used to be there. And then I'm like, look up and it's like, oh, it's 6 p.m. and what have I done personally for myself? Nothing. So I'm like, there are people that really need to see me. So those are the people that I'm gonna go and visit. I can't be bothered with the ones that once I realize that you're wasting my time and you don't want, sometimes people come to you and they're asking for your help, they don't want your help. What are we
They
doing?
come for your help, but don't want your help.
They somebody's commenting as telling me they want me to help them write the book, and I'm telling them and I'm giving them suggestions with all this expertise, and they're like, no, but we want it like this.
Oh,
So
they think they know what they're doing.
then I'm like, and I had to fire a few clients, like, you can have your money back. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
Hmm.
sometimes you can't deal with everybody's money is not good.
That's
Uh,
true.
some people are it's such a big headache when you're just going back and forth and you don't get anything done.
Yeah.
Just tell people, and my friends know it. That's why a lot of my friends have not come to me for business because they seem to think that, oh, we're going to be friends. And it has to be like, no, I run this a certain type of way, right? Um, this is what it is. So everybody gets like clear, detailed. I'm very detailed, meticulous with the things that I send to people. Um, so the people they don't want to be bothered with it. They just want the easy. And I was like, I don't do that.
Hmm.
I don't do the easy way. You gonna work. A lot of people, I would say people want to write a book, but they don't want to write the book. They don't want to do the work.
They want you
No,
to do it all.
I tell them, I say, if you want me to write your book, then you can pay me as a ghostwriter. And if you're not gonna do that, you gotta do it.
That's right.
Um, so even with my own children, I'm one to teach my children that you don't get anything done. And on social media and all these platforms, we see people getting things. And it looks like, oh my God, they didn't do anything, but they get. No, all that stuff that people get and they didn't put in the work, that's temporary, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, you don't want the temporary incentives. You
Yeah,
want the things that are gonna last a lifetime. I'm trying to build a legacy here. No one can take away anything that I built because I built it properly.
that's right.
It took longer, but it was worth it.
So you not only write books, you help others write books as well.
Yes.
Are you are you including AI in your processes to help you write those books?
Use AI. Some clients they come with book cover designs that they do with AI, but I could tell. I really had the I don't know, like no. So I'll look at their stuff for like an inspiration or something.
Hmm.
So it's fine to use it to get ideas. But sometimes
Yeah,
I use it like if I'm doing like a workshop and I want to think of like writing prompts to ask. People like, what writing
right.
prompts would I ask about self care? And I'll pop up. I was like, oh, okay. But to just use it and say that that's mine, no.
Got it. That makes sense.
So it's more
Um,
like create like the inspiration when you're just stuck and you're like, oh, I can't think about what I want.
that makes sense. You get ideas from it.
We can recreate the images that they give.
Oh, you recreate them. You don't just use the images that they give you.
Mhm.
Okay. You also have like some powerful areas of focus, like domestic violence survivors, children's books, and even supporting your son, like you were saying, as an author. Tell us more about the projects and why they matter to you, like the domestic violence survivors and the children's books.
Um, I feel like every day we see some type of domestic violence, and people seem to think that domestic violence is only between men and women or people that are in
Couple.
relationships, and that is not true. When they use the word domestic, it's household.
Hmm.
So children can be participants in domestic violence, anyone in the household, pretty much.
Hmm.
Um, so that includes the parent-child relationship, grandparents, whoever's in the household. And also with that, it's just sad that now we are in 2025 and people are still looking at women as crazy when they say this person did X, Y, and Z to me. And it's always, oh, what did you do? And uh, um, like glorifying the men. And it's kind of like,
Right.
why in 2025 is this still a thing? Uh,
Right.
so I have to always talk about, I just seen a social media post today and people were saying, oh, it's not that hard to just leave a domestic violence situation. I was like, well, if you've never been in one, how do you know?
Right. That's true.
It's the same thing as I was watching this movie on Hulu about stolen youth being in a cult. I don't know if you've seen that. It's about this college with his dad moved in with the kids and he got them into a cult. And just by looking at him and listening to him, it in the beginning it seemed like he was just trying to help. They were
Right.
asking him questions like, oh, they don't have it like, oh, this is an older guy, he lived his life. And he was like, this is what you need to do. He was just being supportive. But as time goes on, he started to change, started physically abusing people, started withholding food, withholding money.
Wow.
If you don't do this, then you don't get that. So in the beginning, they don't start out hitting and doing all those
Right.
things. They start being whoever you want them to be. And then over time, they just snatch that away and start, withholding things and saying things. And it's easy to become brainwashed. It's
Right.
the child. Like I always tell people when you keep telling a child that calling them names or calling them or saying bad negative things to them, that's what they believe.
Right.
And then they come and start acting out with the negative attention. Because I'm a teacher too and I see it. So then when you come with the positive attention, they're just like not receptive because what is that?
Right.
So it's easy to become influenced by narcissists because that's what they do. that's how they get you. Like, what do we have to do to get a fish? We got to put a bait on it, right? They're not just gonna come to you because you put the hook there. You got to put something on it, on the in a very cunning way, so that we don't know that's what they're doing.
Right.
Um,
Which makes it harder for them to walk away because they don't even know
exactly.
that this is what's going on with them mentally.
And then walking away, when people say that, it's just like, who in their right mind is gonna walk away with absolutely nothing? I don't have no clothes, no money, no. Where we going? And
Right.
knowing that a person tells you, if a person tells you, and I was told this, if I can't have, what else can? If you leave, I'm going to kill you. You start
Right.
to believe it, or I'm going to come after your family. And you start to have this burden of, I don't want nothing to happen to my family. So here you are, you staying there because that's my family. I don't want you to do this.
Right.
It's just a never ending cycle. So that's why I talked about that, because I want people to know it's real. It's not
Hmm.
something that I don't ever believe somebody just wants that to happen. It just happens. Do we
Right.
actually know people that we marry or that we get in relationships with? No. People change overnight and people go through things all the time. And then my son, he has neurofibromatosis, and
Say
that's a
that again.
neurofibromatosis.
What is that?
So he has a condition where the tumors grow on his body and inside his body. So they could grow anywhere on the body. Um, and he was saying he wanted to write the book when he was 4. I was like, no, I'll do it when you're able to sit down and tell me the story. So he did.
Okay.
He was just telling me that he's sick and tired of people calling him names,
Mm.
kid, and laughing at him. And why are people mean? And I was like, why don't you tell them that this is what's happening? Um, he has spots, so people just call him Dalmatian, like these dark spots on him.
Oh,
So I wanted to bring the awareness about hidden disabilities, because I'm like, we only see what we can see, so we don't know. Like, obviously, we can tell when someone's blind, but we don't know when people are deaf, right?
right.
So you keep hollering and screaming, and they're just sitting there, and you're not paying attention. Like, I pay attention. I focus more on people's nonverbals than their verbal responses.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm like, people have to be more empathetic and pay attention, and understand that everything is not seen by our eyes.
That's true.
Um, so that's why I wrote the book. Chronic condition. He misses a lot of school, missed school twice this week. We just came from an oncologist um, for trying to get medication to shrink his tumors because they're really big and we don't want to do surgery again. So he's
Hmm.
3 surgeries. And I was like, how much, how many surgeries can a child? And this is a child.
Do
This
they
one,
have like natural things that can shrink tumors? Have you looked into natural holistic things?
no, but we did natural stuff for his headaches, and we did like pineapples. Pineapples are great for them headaches. He has pineapple smoothies. Um, but they don't want to do surgery.
Hmm.
Um, not because they they kids won't be able to use his arm if they go cut into deep where nerves are. So I
Hmm.
just want to bring awareness to the chronic pain,
That makes sense.
because
Definitely
I've
understand now.
experienced too. Like, people look at me and it's kind of like, oh, you're so healthy. And I'm like, I've been chronic my whole life. I have scoliosis, and just because I look great, I don't feel great.
Hmm.
I don't feel great all the time. Um, and that's another thing. People are like, you keep going, you keep going. I was like, because if I sit, it just makes you feel like the things that I can't do. When they say idle minds, I don't want my mind to be idle, because then I go to these thoughts that are bad, of like,
Right.
I wish
Right.
do this. I wish I could do that. So I just do what I can. But
And that's
awareness,
all we can do.
awareness is key. When I tell people about my son, they're just like, where and how? And I'm like, we don't make it look like there's anything going on, but there's stuff going on. Just make it look nice. But I have to talk about it because I don't want people to think and like say to me, "Oh, you got the perfect life." And I heard stuff like that, and I don't like it because it's like, where? I'm still going through life. I'm like, life is life as far as all. Please don't. I'm not exempt from life problems.
Right. No one is. We all have some type of struggles.
And people
Something.
think that when you're in a certain place, celebrity or whatever, I'm like, we're going through stuff too. We just don't see it. But okay.
Right.
Mhm.
That is so true. Um, have you thought about putting your son in homeschool if it bothers him for being bullied or people talking about him? Or do you feel like it wouldn't be good for his mental?
We did homeschooling for fifth grade. And I was like, "Ooh, we did this and you were in school." He wanted to go to school, um, middle school, he wanted to go. He's very sociable.
Oh, that's good.
He makes friends very easily. He can keep up in school, like, so it wasn't that he couldn't learn, it's just that he's not there all the time. So I'm
Hmm.
grateful for his school uses online platform where if he misses, he can still do the
Hmm.
work on there. I just make sure to let people know when he's not gonna be there.
Oh, that's good. That's very positive then. That he makes friends easily. He may be bullied, but he makes friends easily and he has friends. He has the support. He's social.
Had to learn. I had to actually teach him, that when people say bad things about you, you gotta start telling them, so what? I don't care. When we started doing that, people were like, because that's not the response a bully wants to say. What you said?
Yeah, that's good. That's confidence. You teaching him confidence.
But I'm like, listen, they expect you to cry, and oh my, no, we don't do that. That's what
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
I
because they're
just
gonna find something. They're gonna talk about you regardless. I don't care if you have something going on with your body, something going on with your mind, something good happening for you. They're gonna find something anyway.
tell him, I said, listen, ask your friends, y'all wrote a book? Y'all wrote a book? No. Y'all been anywhere that have somewhere? No. Leave me alone. And he'd be like, but I'm just like, most of the stuff is silly. When we really sit down and think about it, like, no one cares. And I really had to instill in my kids is just be yourself.
Be
All that
yourself.
stuff is not important.
I love it. So
So
before we close out, let everybody know where they can follow your journey and support your work.
I'm on Instagram at He Writes and Empowers. My website is from pain to purpose LLC.com. And I'm on TikTok at from pain to purpose LLC.
All right. Well, thank you, Sherri, for
Yep.
sharing your story, your purpose, your voice with us today. Your journey from pain to purpose is something that so many women can connect with, and kids too, actually. And we
Mhm.
appreciate you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Um, yes. And thank you to the listeners for joining us and being in the audience on the Boss Women Network podcast. So make sure you remember to stay inspired, stay motivated, and stay boss. And until next time, bye. Bye,
Bye.
Sherri. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Bye.